Okay, it's 7 p.m. So I would start now because I have to study after 7. Okay. So good evening, everyone, and welcome to one of our live sessions. So today's topic, we are going to be discussing the cure to diabetes. We're going to be answering quite a very important question, a question that many people want to know the answer to. Okay, so what is the cure to diabetes? Is there even a cure? Now, many people around the world, not just Nigerians, through their lifestyle and their dietary changes, they are able to get off their medications. Many people are able to normalize their blood sugars, just through diet and lifestyle medications. But many people are still told that, oh, even though your diet and lifestyle recommendations are working for you, you should still keep taking your medications, right? So what really is the solution to diabetes? Is there a cure? And if there is a cure, what is that cure, right? So let's talk about it. I think we're going to unlearn and we are also going to relearn a lot of things, although this session would take a very short time. I wouldn't spend more than 40 minutes, okay? So I would be very straight, concise, very straight to the point, okay? So once again, my name is Rita. I am a medical student. I'm a wellness consultant. And my job is to simply help you battle your ailments by knowing and understanding how your body really works, right? So knowing your disease, knowing what you are struggling with. I mean, the devil that you know is better than the devil you don't know, right? So knowing your disease and knowing how to battle it is one of the first steps towards recovery, right? You may agree with me. And my dad suffering a stroke was really the starting point of my journey, okay? So as I'm still in school, as I'm journeying towards getting that prestigious degree of becoming a medical doctor, I can help you now, okay, by sharing my knowledge and my advice with you to the best of my knowledge, okay? So let's go ahead and move into our session. Now, according to WebMD, there is no cure to diabetes, okay? Now, it may be tempting to think that there is a cure somewhere, or there is a pill that can take all your diabetes away forever. But with the research that has been done on diabetes so far, up until today, there is no cure for diabetes. Now, we have to ask ourselves, what do we really mean by cure? Okay, so I researched, it's not really a research, it's just a dictionary, right? So what does cure mean? To cure someone as a verb is to relieve a person of the symptoms of a disease, to heal or to restore to health. Okay, so that is the first problem. That's where our problem starts. To cure someone means means to relieve the person of the symptoms of a disease. Do you agree with that? Do you think that's, or should I say, in your own terms of being cured, does it mean that your symptoms are just bygone? If your symptoms go away, do you consider yourself cured of your disease? Is being healthy just being symptom free? I really want you to tell me in the chat, because I muted everyone so that you can hear just my voice. But I'd like to know, according to the dictionary, to cure someone is to relieve them of a symptom. Do you agree with that? Do you think that if your symptoms are gone, then you are cured of your ailments? I would love to see your comments in the chat. What do you think? Is being healthy just being, oh, I don't have that symptom anymore. Oh, I don't have headaches, so I'm no longer a diabetic patient anymore. Is that what you think being cured is? I'd really like to know your point of view. So you can type what you think in the chat, okay? I would send in a response now so that everyone can know where the chat is located, okay? So I want to hear from you. Does curing your disease mean that you are relieved of that symptom? Okay, someone said no privately. Exactly. So being cured of your disease doesn't mean that you are symptom free. Okay. Okay, I see another comment. No, don't think so. All right. So let's look at a heart attack, for example. If someone is suffering from a heart attack, okay, do you think that that heart attack just came out of nowhere? Like all of a sudden the person just suffered a heart attack. It doesn't happen like that. Heart attack is actually a symptom of something. Okay, something must have caused somebody to have a heart attack. And if you just treat that heart attack without actually treating the root cause of that problem, be it plaque, be it obesity, that must have caused that person to have high blood pressure, which in turn led the person to have a heart attack. If you don't treat that root cause of the problem, that person can still suffer another heart attack, right? So you suffering a heart attack is just a symptom, right? So according to dictionary, to cure someone is to relieve a person of the symptoms of that disease, and that is it. Okay. Now, as a noun, to cure someone is to basically give them a substance that would relieve the symptoms of that disease. And that is simply what your medications do. Okay. All your medications do is to try and suppress the symptoms of diabetes. It doesn't take the root cause of the problem away. Yes, it also helps to prevent things like microvessel disease, prevent things like neuropathy, foot ulcer, peripheral artery disease, all these diseases that can come as a result of you being a diabetic patient, right? But at the end of the day, the reason why you have to take them ever so often is because the root cause of the problem is still there. Okay, so let's move on. Is there a cure to diabetes? I will be honest with you, there is no cure to diabetes because there is no substance pill, there is no herbal drink, whatever it is that you would ever take that would take your diabetes away forever. So when many of us ask this question, is there a cure to diabetes? We are actually looking for something that we can take, right? Something that we can take that would remove diabetes from our body forever, and we would not be considered as a diabetic patient anymore. But there is nothing like that. And the reason is because type 2 diabetes in particular is not really a disease. I wouldn't call it a disease. I would call it a physiological adaptation. Okay? It's an adaptation of life. It's not a disease because none of your body parts are broken. If you examine yourself right now as a diabetic patient, none of your body parts or your body organs are malfunctioning. Everything is working just fine. Okay, nothing is broken, and because nothing is broken, there's nothing to fix in particular. Okay, now there would never be a cure to diabetes because there is no disease to begin with. Okay, your body is simply acting the way it is acting right now as a diabetic patient because of the conditions you have given your body. Okay, your body is smart, and everything that goes on happens on purpose. Okay, sometimes your body can move out of homeostasis, which is what we call balance, and it would bring itself back to order. Okay, have you ever encountered a situation where you feel like you are getting sick, but then a few days pass and then it seems like your body is back to normal? That's your body just healing you without you having to be on medications. Maybe sometimes you just feel a sore throat, or let's just go with sore throat, and you just decide to like wait some days, and then you don't feel that sore throat anymore. That's just your body bringing itself back into balance. Okay, now let's look at some other examples. Somebody that lifts weights, or a bodybuilder, or basically someone that goes to the gym, when you go to the gym the first day, first 10 days, first 20 days, you are putting stress on your muscles. If you keep going for a year, for 6 months, you realize that your body would now respond by giving you muscles in order for you to keep undergoing that, or should I say withstanding that stress that you are putting on the muscle. Okay. Likewise, somebody who just sits at home all day, the body is just going to down regulate itself. So that person is not going to get any muscles. That person will just be adding weights. Okay. So what I'm trying to explain to you is that everything the body does is in response to another thing. Okay. If you have never experienced snow before in your life and all of a sudden it starts to snow, you would be freezing. Okay, because your body has not yet adapted to snow. But if it keeps snowing and snowing over a period of years, you will get used to it, right? Likewise, if somebody is not used to being in a heated environment or in a sunny environment, like the way we are in Nigeria, that person would be complaining, it's too hot, it's too hot, it's too hot. Okay, because that person, the body has not adapted to a sunny environment. Okay, so if you don't use something, your body will down regulate it. Okay, I've used this example before, but I'm going to use it again. It's just like the parable of the talents in the Bible, when the master gave his 3 servants, if I remember correctly, he gave one 5 talents, he gave one 2 talents, he gave the other one 1 talent. And the servants with 5 talents and 2 talents, they went to, make good use of their talents, and they made 5 more, and the other one made 2 more. And the master was happy with those 2 servants, right? And then the other one that he gave 1 talent just went and buried it. And when the master came, he was like, you are a wicked master. I know that you would always want your talent back. So I went and buried it, etc, etc. And the master was angry, and he took away that 1 talent away from him because he didn't make use of it. So the more you use something, your body adapts to that thing. Okay, and if you don't use it at all, then you are just wasting it. Okay, so I don't remember the quote, but those who have less, because they don't use what they have, is going to be taken away from them. Okay, this is simply what we call physiological adaptation. It happens all the time. It happens even in your day-to-day life. Okay, so many of you, your body has already adapted to your stress. Okay, if somebody should take on the kind of workload that you have right now, the person can start complaining, but you just see it as, oh, this is just, a regular thing. For instance, myself as a student, I understand how the university goes and the workload and everything. But somebody who is just a new student would find it quite difficult at the first few weeks until they adapt to the process. Okay. So what I'm trying to explain to you is that your body is very smart. Nothing happens because it wants to happen. Okay. Your body responds to the environment. Okay. And as it's responding to the environment, sometimes it's going to get out of balance, making you sick, and it will return to balance. Okay. So everything happens, everything in your body happens in response to something. Okay. Now, if we are relating this physiological adaptation to diabetes is a late form of what we call insulin resistance, or some of you may know it as pre-diabetes. It is the late stage of insulin resistance. Okay. Now, what is insulin resistance? It simply means that your body doesn't regulate or process glucose as it used to. Okay. And this didn't happen when you were in your 20s, when you were living life, when you were much younger, you could get away with anything. If you eat all the burgers in the world, nothing will happen to you, right? When you were smaller, you could lick all the sweets, all the candy, and nothing will happen to you. But you cannot dare try it now. If not, you are going to see, the other side of life. Okay? You could get away with it back then. But now, your body has adapted to a certain way of eating and a certain way of living your life. Okay. So I want us to take a journey back to 20 years ago. Let's try and figure out when all of this issue of being a diabetic patient actually started from. Okay, so I put a little graph here to show us what has been going on over the past 20 years. Okay, so in year one, you eat a certain amount of carbohydrates, a certain amount of sugar. You eat 3 times, 4 times, 5 times a day, whatever amount of times you eat a day. Okay, so the blue part of this graph represents your glucose, your carbohydrate-rich foods or your sugary-rich foods. Okay, and the red determines the amount of insulin. Okay, so you see, in year one, you have the exact amount of insulin that will take on this amount of glucose. Now, nothing goes wrong. You don't necessarily take more carbohydrates. You don't also take more sugar. But then because you never clean out your body system, nowadays, we don't have fasting periods anymore. Okay, even if people are fasting right now, they don't even take it seriously for health benefits. Many people do it because of, okay, in my religion, it's Lenten period. You know, my pastor said I should go on a 21-day fast. That's the only time that people fast. Nobody really thinks about, okay, how about I fast for health benefits, right? So because you are still eating the same amount of carbohydrates-rich foods and sugary-rich foods, you don't give your body time. You don't give your body time to clean out itself, to make use of what it is already storing. You don't give your body time for that. You just keep putting in. And then 6, 7 years later, we figure out that your blood glucose that is being stored has increased, not because something changed in your diet. Okay, because people tell me all the time, I don't know why I am a diabetic patient. I have been eating like this all my life. Yes, nothing changed, but you didn't stop. Okay, everything just keeps storing and you don't have any means of cleaning out your body system. Okay, now in year 7, we can say that the blood glucose has risen and the same amount of insulin that it would take in year 1 has doubled. Okay, so it has also increased. The same thing with year 15. Okay, so at this point in year 7, problems have started internally, but you don't know it yet. Okay, you think that you are fine, you feel fine. This is probably when you are in your late 20s. You know, everything is fine with you. You don't feel anything wrong. Things keep happening. You know, you don't clean out your body system. You are still eating the way you are eating. You are not cautioning yourself. You don't fast, nothing. Okay, you are still eating 3, 4, 5 times, 6 times in a day, eating snacks, all these things. It just keeps piling and piling and piling up. And we can now see that the same amount of carbohydrates, the glucose that is being stored has increased, and insulin itself will also increase. Okay, and the same with year 20, when insulin can no longer control the amount of glucose that is being stored, because you have so much stored already and you are still getting in even more. Okay, so you can see now that your body has adapted to this lifestyle. It didn't happen, okay, overnight. All right, your body adapted to it because you weren't doing certain things. Your body has now gotten used to this. In fact, your body is now in, I will call it survival mode. Okay, because your blood glucose just keeps rising, and then it needs so much insulin. It needs so much insulin to bring it down, but it has spiraled out of control. Okay, so you as a diabetic patient, type 2 diabetes simply means that you have given your body too much sugar and carbohydrates, that it doesn't know what to do with it anymore. It's just like you are feeding it, and it has gotten so full and it is begging you to stop. Okay, it's begging you to stop, but you are still giving it even more. You are just choking it down with carbohydrates, and your insulin has risen so high. Okay, and we call it insulin resistance. So because it is so much, in order not to kill you, your body becomes resistant to the insulin. Okay. And because your body is smart, your body just keeps, producing more and more and more insulin because you are eating all the time. You don't modify your diet. You are still eating 5-6 times a day, getting in your snacks and your sugary things, etc. Okay. And all of a sudden you go to the clinic and they check your blood sugar. They tell you that you are a diabetic patient. And then they give you medications that would then force your body to take even more insulin, to respond to even more insulin. Okay, so you can see now that your body adapted to this lifestyle. Okay, it didn't just happen out of nowhere. Okay, now when we think about cure for diabetes, the reason they say that there is no cure to diabetes in the medical world is that there is no pill, there is no herbal product anywhere in this world that would be able to do something to your body that was caused by adaptive physiology. Pills, medications, the ones that they treat them because something was damaged, something was broken. But as a diabetic patient, you are completely fine. Your pancreas is working perfectly fine. It is secreting the amount of insulin it is supposed to secrete. Nothing is wrong with you. This is simply an adaptation of life that is happening to you right now. Okay? So when they say that there's no cure, they are actually right. There is no cure to it because nothing is fault. Okay? And your medications do not work to reduce that insulin that is going out of control. Because diabetes is not just blood sugar, blood sugar, blood sugar, blood sugar. It's actually an insulin problem. Okay? And the medications do not reduce that secretion. Okay? I didn't just come up with these statements. It's actually in a medical journal, the Molecular Basis of Disease journal. They said that under normal condition, metformin, a popular anti-diabetic medication, it plays no part in promoting insulin secretion or in inhibiting insulin secretion. So it doesn't decrease insulin secretion. It doesn't stop it either. It doesn't increase it. It doesn't decrease it. There's nothing wrong with you. This is just, you have adapted to this lifestyle. That is simply it. Okay. So when they say that there's no cure, they mean that there is no pill that would make your body, you can't flush diabetes out. You can't flush an adaptive something that has a physiology that is adaptive. You can't flush it out because nothing is wrong with you. Diabetes is not a red ball in your system that you just take something and it should just remove diabetes out of your system. It doesn't work like that. Okay, so I put it to you today that there cannot be a cure for diabetes. There would never be a cure to diabetes because diabetes is not a disease. It is not a disease. And I want you to think about it in a different way, to see this condition in a different light. Okay, because it's not a disease. You have simply adapted to this way of life. Okay. All right. Now, in medicine today, we look at it like it's a problem. We look at it like, oh, your cells are no longer responding normally to blood glucose. Oh, your body is no longer responding to food. So let us, your blood sugar is high. It's causing you to have this and this symptoms. So let us give you some medications that would suppress the symptoms. And the thing is, you cannot eat your cake and have it. You cannot force your body to do something and you expect that your quality of life would remain the same. Your immune system would remain the same. You can't eat your cake and have it. Okay. And when we say that, okay, your body is not responding normally to blood glucose, it's not responding normally to food. What we mean by normal in today's world now is plenty of carbohydrates, plenty of processed foods, plenty of sugary foods. Okay. And also eating multiple times a day. All right. Fasting is so important. You don't need to eat 3, 4, 5, 6 times in a day. Okay. And even what you eat matters. Okay. So it's not just about what we eat, how often we eat. It has changed. If you think back to 100 centuries ago, they weren't dealing with things like this. But nowadays, it seems like there is just one new disease over another new disease. Okay, today you hear one thing, tomorrow is another thing, tomorrow is another thing, another thing. Because we have lost it when it comes to food and nutrition. We don't know what we are doing anymore. And that's what we teach our children, and our children will teach their own children. And then we start saying that diabetes is running in the family. Nothing is running in your family. It's just your eating pattern and your way of life that you pass down to your children, and they pass down to their children and their children as well. So it's kind of like a family pattern now. Okay. So the good news is that despite there not being a cure, and when I say cure, I mean there is no pill, no herbal product, no supplement, nothing that you would take today that would flush diabetes out of your body. It's not possible. Okay? The only thing that can happen to you that would reduce, or should I say, undo this adaptation, is for you to reverse it. Okay, and the beautiful thing about your body is that if you start adapting healthier ways of life, your body is going to pick up from there. Okay, so if you start doing things the right way, it wouldn't even take as much time as it took to damage your system. It would take even less time to repair it. So if it took 20 years for you to develop diabetes, it would take and then, you start to fix your lifestyle habits. You start to do, different things. You start to adopt healthier lifestyle choices. It would take you 5 to 10 years for you to get your body back on track, because nothing's false. Nothing was broken in the first place. Okay, so the good news is that adaptations are reversible. Adaptations are reversible. You only need to make that decision. You only need to make that, and I mean a serious decision about your health, instead of giving excuses that this is too hard, this is too hard, this is too hard. Anyway, I'll come to that. But there are certain things, and this is in a list of priorities. There are certain things you need to eliminate or stop. The first thing is high fructose corn syrup. That's the thing that is found in candies, that is even worse than sugar. Then you find sugar itself. Okay, if you don't know, sugar is the new alcohol today. Sugar is the new alcohol. So it's only your liver that can process sugar. So you have to be very careful with your consumption. Like I said before, if you could get away with it in your 20s, you can't get away with it now. You absolutely cannot. Okay. Another thing again is processed food. So many things are processed nowadays. Even seasonings are processed. Okay, so try as much as possible to reduce how much processed foods that you eat. Instead of eating hot dogs, why not go for meat? Why not go for chicken? Why not go for turkey instead of trying to get the processed form of it? Okay. Another thing again is how often we eat, because we have to clean out the pantry. I think that fasting is one of medicine's most underutilized medicines, if I should put it that way. It's one of the tools that we have in medicine today that we don't even use at all. We don't utilize it at all. Okay, fasting, it can help you with a lot of things. Okay, and I know that with fasting, so many of you as diabetic patients, you would feel hungry, right? So many people cannot fast because one of the symptoms of diabetes is that it's going to increase your hunger and your thirst. Okay, so I will tell you how you can go about it in a minute. And the last thing you need to reduce is your carbohydrates. Okay, so you can see that carbohydrates is actually the least of your problems. It's actually the least of your problems, because if you reduce your sugar and your processed foods and you eat less, then your carbohydrates are not as harmful as we are making them seem. Okay, they're not as harmful. So if we stop doing all those things and then we embrace healthier things, for instance, eating low carb and high fat diets would make you less hungry, and it will also require less insulin to use up. Okay, so I have this picture here. On the left hand side, we have 100 grams of cake, and on the other hand, we have 100 grams of salad. Now, I want you to use your imagination. if I gave you this piece of cake right now and you finished eating it in one sitting, you would still feel hungry, right? Okay. If I gave you this bowl of salad and I asked you to finish it, when you finish eating this bowl of salad, I bet you that you are not going to feel hungry anymore, as opposed to you eating this 100 grams of cake. The simple reason is that you eating things like high fat foods, healthy fat foods, okay, not the bad kind of fat, but the healthy kind of fat, and you eating foods that have high fiber, okay? For example, your fruits and vegetables, like this salad right here, okay? It would take up more space in your stomach. I don't know if I can annotate. I think I can annotate, but I don't know if you would be able to see my annotation. Okay. So let me assume that this is your stomach. Let's just assume, okay? Can you see this red circle I just drew in the middle of these two diagrams? Can you see it? Please let me know in the chat. Can you see what this green, I say green, brown circle I just drew? Can you see my screen? Can anyone hear me? I don't know if you are with me anymore because I can't see my screen anymore. Okay, you should be able to see my screen now. So can you see what I am drawing, and can you also see my screen? Please let me know. Oh, okay. Can you see it now? I hope that you can see it now. So I'm going to draw a brown circle, okay? Okay. All right. Now, let me show you your piece of cake. A piece of cake in our stomach, it would probably be like this, okay? This is our piece of cake in our entire stomach, right? But then if we take this bowl of salad in the same stomach, it's going to take up probably this much space, full of vegetables, full of lettuce, okay? Still the same amount of weight, the same 100 gram, 100 gram, okay? So when I say that you should go for healthier fat foods or low carb, high healthy fat foods, this is what I'm talking about. Because when you eat this bowl of salad, because it is so full, it takes up a lot of space as opposed to 100 gram of chocolate cake, okay? Or even your poundo, your fufu. If we do the same thing, for fufu, you'll probably take this much of space, okay? As opposed to you eating a bowl of salad, okay? It's going to take much more space, thereby giving your body more time to digest it. You're not going to feel hungry, okay? So that's the trick to dealing with this issue of I would feel hungry and thirsty all the time, okay? So I hope that my little presentation is clear, okay? I hope that it's clear. So I would erase all of this from my screen right now, okay? So going for your healthier fats will take up more space in your system, in your stomach, okay? So the good news, as I was explaining before, is that adaptations are reversible. So yes, you can definitely reverse your diabetes, okay, by doing things in a much better way, okay? Since diabetes happened because of certain things that we did, because your body is not broken, if you stop doing those things and you adapt to healthier and better habits, you can reverse diabetes on your own. Your body can do it on its own, okay, without you having to look for one magic pill or one magic herb or something like that. You can definitely do it on your own. So the first step is to do away with these things. You see this list is very important. Do away with it in the order that I put it here. So you start with your sugar, start with your processed food, then you start with how often you eat in a day before you then talk about your carbohydrates. Okay, so work on those things, and then you add you take on better habits, okay, of eating low carb, high fat diets, practicing intermittent fasting, because when you eat low carb and high fat, you are full and you can fast for longer periods of time, right? And then you can exercise and also manage your stress. Stress is one of the things that even in Nigeria of today, stress is one of the things that would make people fall very, very sick without even being sick in the first place, if you understand what I mean. So please, 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 stress, especially chronic stress, it does you so much harm that you could ever think of. Okay, even way more damage than your food could ever do to you, or eating unhealthy meals could ever do to you. Okay, so please take note of your stress. All right, so the more of these things you do, the better your chances of developing a better adaptation. Okay, the more of these healthier ways of life that you take on, the better your chances of you getting out of this adaptation of being a diabetic patient. All right. Now, for those of you that desire more assistance, you already know that I have two major resources for you to take advantage of. The first one is your meal plan to help you modify your diet, tell you what foods you should eat, and also the times that you should eat. What times are best for you to practice your intermittent fasting, okay? And also your wellness pack supplements that will speed things up for you. Speed things up for you. Give your body that extra push that it needs. It's not there to cure your diabetes. It cannot do that. You are the only one that can do that. So your supplements are simply tools that would give you the right vitamins, the right healthy fats, so that you can create more healthy cells, give you antioxidants that would help you undo that adaptation faster than you would if you don't have them, okay? And also help you deal with that oxidative stress that your body has created, okay? Prevent further damage, save you from the side effects of your medications as you are trying to undo your adaptation, okay? This is what the supplements are going to help you do. It's just like you could get there in 10 years, but you want to get there faster. Instead of trekking, you want to get on a bus, okay? That's what the supplements are there to help you with. And then your meal plan to help you with that, to undo that adaptation of your meals, okay? And also how often you are eating, all right? So these are here to help you. These are the major resources I have for you. And your meal plan remains 5,000. And I am also bringing back the 10% discount and free delivery on your supplements, so that I can help you adjust to the new price of the supplements because they increased in our Tinubu economy, okay? So you have your 10% discounts and your free delivery up until the end of the month again, okay? So you have another chance now to get to save some cash, okay, on your supplements for those of you that need them, all right? So do not wait for a cure. There is no product out there in this world as it is today, 10th of November, 2023, there is no product out there in this world that you would take and flush diabetes out of your system. You are the only one that can do that. If you want to flush diabetes out of your system, undo the adaptation. The only things that can help you are certain tools like your meal plan and the supplements to help speed up the process. But you are the cure. The cure is in you. It's inside of you. There is no other place for you to find it. Any person trying to claim that this particular pill, this particular supplement, this particular thing, it can help to cure your diabetes forever and ever. It doesn't work like that. And if it worked like that, why didn't the World Health Organization announce that particular product as the ultimate cure to your diabetes? Do you think that they don't know about things like this? Do you think that your doctors don't know about it? So please, I really, really hope that we have learned something new today. Diabetes is not a disease. It's simply an adaptation. I would say it's your way of life. Okay? And simply doing things better. First of all, knowing what to stop, which I've already explained to you, knowing the good things that you should adopt, okay, and actually implementing it. It would do you a lot. It will do you so much good than going through the stress of trying out 1,001 things looking for the cure to diabetes. Okay? And I bought this and it said it will cure my diabetes, but it didn't cure my diabetes. And I've tried so many products, etc., etc., etc. You are the key. You are the cure. Okay? The cure is inside of you. So if you take it seriously, many of you can even get off your medications. Okay? So I hope that this was helpful to you. Please let me know if you have any questions. Please let me know if you have any questions, okay? And also let me know if you learned something new today. I hope that the presentation was informative and that it's educated you, okay? So please let me know your comments. I would love to say some comments, please. You're welcome, Mr. Emmanuel. Thank you for coming. Okay, and if you have any questions, please let me know, okay? So we are done. You're welcome. This is Ifoma. Thank you for joining me live. So we are done. If you'd like to leave, you can leave now. Yes, I would definitely post the replay, okay? You're welcome. You're welcome. High protein foods are good too. They can actually make up for your carbohydrates, okay? Because protein can act as a substitute for fuel when carbohydrates or glucose is lacking in your system, okay? It can act, all right? So the best bet is healthy fats. That's the best bet. That's actually the major source of fuel for your entire body system, okay? However, if you are also lacking in your healthy fats, then proteins can make up for it. But the way I would arrange it is start with your high healthy fats before you then think of high protein foods and low carb. Okay, so yes, proteins can help you too, especially with repairing your cells, which is very important. Okay, especially with repairing those cells that are already worn out due to your medications. Okay, and also due to insulin resistance. Okay, because you have to, we call it cell regeneration. Okay, your body has to keep producing new cells and the dead ones will be flushed out. So proteins can help you with that. Okay, all right. So I hope that, Mrs. Ifoma, I hope that I have been able to answer your question. Okay, Mr. Samuel, you can just send me a message. I believe you are on the group, or if you are not on the group, then you can just send me a message. So let me drop my number in the chat. Okay. All right. Okay, you're on the group. So I'm the admin of the group. You can just send me a private message. Okay. Are we going to continue taking the supplements or one off? Well, you start with one and you see how much it helps you, and then you make the decision to keep going or not. Okay. However, I would recommend that you are quite frequent with it, even if you are not back to back. Okay. You can at least be frequent with it. So maybe even if you are giving gaps, if you can take a month off, be frequent with it is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so my best advice would be to start with one first and see how much your body loves it and how your body responds to it and the progress that you make with it. And then you make the decision to keep going. Okay. All right. Okay. Any more questions? Okay. Mr. Farmer says, is soybean powder okay? Well, soybean in itself, I don't know. I don't know how free of preservatives your soybean powder is, okay? But I know the soybean itself can help you with a range of health problems. Okay, it can help you with a range of health problems. It's a very, very good lentil. Okay, it can help you prevent cardiovascular diseases, coronary heart diseases, can help you with your bone health. So yes, it's very, very good. So depending on how clean and natural it is, no problem. Okay, because as I said, processed foods are one of the things that you should stray away from. If you check your diet, then you know how much processed foods you're actually getting. Okay. All right. Okay, you said natural one without preservatives. Okay, then you are good to go. Okay. Okay, for the supplements, you have them in a sachet. So you have omega-3s, your multivitamin and astaxanthin in a sachet. Okay, and then you have 21 sachets in a pack. Okay, so we take one sachet per day. Okay, and it would last you 21 days per pack. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. All right. Okay. Okay, so I hope that this issue of I need a cure for diabetes, I hope that we understand it now. Okay, so please know what you are doing. It's better to know than to not know, right? Knowledge is power. So please do with this information I've given you today as you wish. Okay. I wouldn't recommend honey. I wouldn't recommend honey to you as a diabetic patient. I know honey is natural. Honey is natural, but it's still sugar. It is still sugar. Okay. And at the end of the day, your body will still break it down as sugar, as fructose. Okay. So I would not recommend honey to you. Okay. If you can go free of sugar, that would be good. Okay. Many people have this misconception that because honey is a sort of natural sweetener, then your body still breaks it down as sugar. If you have ever put hot water into honey before, just allow it dissolve, like very, very hot water. You would see actual sugar underneath. Okay. So I wouldn't recommend honey to you as a diabetic patient. Okay. I would say that you can completely go free of it if you are able to, okay? Or you use very, very, very minimal, okay? Very, very minimal. You don't have to use it excessively, okay? Moderation still remains key, okay? So it's not really that you cannot take these foods, even though there are some things I would completely ban that you take as a diabetic patient, but if you must take them, then moderation is key. Okay, you can take very minimal of it and it wouldn't do as much harm, okay, as you overusing the food or using it excessively. Okay, so I hope that helps. Okay. Any more questions? Okay, you're welcome. Okay. If there are no more questions, do you permit me to leave and end the session? All right. If there are no more questions, I would like to end the session. Thank you so much for being a part of my live audience. If you are not here, then I wouldn't have anyone to communicate with, right? So thank you so much for being here. And I hope that these sessions are valuable. I hope that they are educative and informative. Okay. All right. So I would see you at a later time. Take good care of yourself. Bye for now. Okay.